Cherry cheesecake. There's just something about having the taste of cherries in the wintertime that reminds me of summer. I got this recipe from a cookbook that I got from the library this week. It was all about poke cakes. Now, I've never made a whole lot of poke cakes, but this recipe book has a lot of interesting recipes. And this one for cherry cheesecake sounded like something I needed to try. So if you've never heard of a poke cake, the reason it's called that is because the main step in making it is poking holes all over this cake. It was originally created in the 1970s by General Mills, basically to market jello, because in most poke cakes you use some sort of jello product. So you poke holes all over your cake and then pour some sort of liquid, usually containing some sort of jello, over the cake and into the holes, and it seeps into the cake and it just makes a fruity, or in this case creamy cake that just has a really moist and delicious flavor. I made this cake for my mom's birthday. She actually requested a chocolate cake which will be coming soon when we have maybe some more family over, but this particular day it was just me and her, and we both love cheesecake, so I thought she would enjoy this cherry cheesecake poke cake. So the recipe calls for a graham cracker crust that you press down into the bottom of the pan. It's just graham cracker crumbs and a little bit of sugar and butter. And then you don't bake it or anything. You just whip up your white cake mix next, and just according to the box directions, and pour it on top of your graham cracker crust. You bake the cake according to the directions, and I was kind of concerned that the graham cracker crust might get soggy, but amazingly it did not. It actually was pretty crispy and it was not soggy at all, so that was interesting. So once the cake is baked, you let it fully cool and you poke holes all over the cake using some sort of implement like a skewer, or in this case I just used the handle of my meat tenderizer because it was round. Sometimes I've even used a straw. While your cake is cooling, you take 8 ounces of cream cheese, a can of sweetened condensed milk, cheesecake flavored jello, and that was a small box, and some milk, and you beat it all together until it's smooth, and then that will be the liquid that you pour on your cake. When the cake is fully cooled, you can pour the liquid on top and make sure that a little bit gets down each hole so that it goes into the cake and the cake absorbs the moisture. There was quite a bit of liquid and some of it went down the sides, and like I said, I was kind of worried that it was going to get soggy underneath, but it didn't. I think the jello kind of helps it set up, and you're supposed to refrigerate this for at least an hour after you've put the liquid on top of the cake. I actually just let mine sit in the refrigerator overnight, and it seemed like it worked out great that way. I used cherries because that's what I had on hand, but I think this would also be delicious with strawberries or even lemon. So this is the next day, and I'm just adding the cherries on the top, and I think I could have even used this is 1 can of cherries. I think I could have used 2 because I really like cherries, and I think it could have used a little bit more fruit, but it was really good. So overall, this was a tasty and interesting poke cake to make. I think if I made it again, I might just leave the crust off the bottom. I don't think it was necessary, and I think the cake would have been great without it. Smooth, rich, creamy, and tart, all the best things about a cheesecake. Try this one out and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.